We're here at Saylorville Lake in Iowa, northeast of Des Moines. I'm not sure what feeds this lake. It's really low now. If you can tell, all the houseboats are well below what seems to be the water line. But on this structure here, there's a 2024 line way up, and the marker is 961 or 81. If you pan around, behind me is the causeway over the lake, and all this driftwood is approximately at that level, marked on the little tower behind me. So apparently, probably in the spring, there was a lot of water in here. We came into the trail on this concrete path through the various campgrounds north of our spot. But I'm going to take I think Sam did too. She's already probably back at the trailer making breakfast. I'm going to take this going south, which is the Neil Smith Trail, and see if there's a mile marker on it. The Corps of Engineers took over responsibility for this area, and I think specifically this trail, not too long ago. And they've put up mile markers. Last one I saw was 16 and a half as we entered this paved section. Now I'm going back on the trail, which so far is really nice, wide, pretty much flat. A lot of pecans cracking under my feet. I'm 2.25 miles since leaving the trailer. So it should be at least 3 by the time we're done. Which at my current level of fitness is a good distance for me. A little bit of running, more walking for me. My back's really giving me fits lately. Well, last 3 months really. Probably because of all the driving, sitting in the truck. I have to start doing something to help loosen it up. If I sit still for too long, I tighten up. But it's nice back here. Corps of Engineers, abbreviated COE, which I didn't realize until someone at the Lewis and Clark Recreation Area told me what COE stood for. They do a really good job. So your tax dollars at work. Since we left the mountains in Alberta, Canada, at Banff, it's been wide open spaces, mostly flat. But there are a lot of places in parks like this where they've done prairie grass reclamation projects, which means they don't have to maintain the grass or the land and mow it, just let it run wild. And what's interesting to me is didn't realize just how thick and diverse all this was. So I'm in this group camp area in one of these loops, Juneberry maybe. I'm in that red circle area. So even though this trail looks like it's going the wrong way, it swings back around and around and all the way down. So I'm gonna give that a shot. Just to finish my thought on the prairie grass, apparently there's only about 1% of the prairie grass left. And if it was as thick as this area, predominantly in places like North and South Dakota and Nebraska, which now is all cornfields, then I can see why settlers and pioneers and Native Americans initially followed animal trails to get through it, and then humans started covering those same trails, which is probably a reason why roads are where they are to a large degree, because the stuff is pretty dense. This might also be why wagon wheels were so high, is to get through all this. Yeah, we're circling back around now, heading kind of southeast. Still on the trail, there's a little spur that goes to knapweed, so if you happen to be in one of these campgrounds, you can get to this main trail from where you are. It's sort of different how wet the ground is. We probably went 2-3 months with no moisture at all, rain or on the ground otherwise. So the fact that I'm got wet shoes, and when you wake up in the morning, if you don't turn your chairs over, the seats will be all wet. Anything you leave out will be covered in dew. Curious to see if there's trail markers, mileage markers on here. If they're every quarter mile, it should be coming up on one fairly soon. Like 16 1/4 or 16 miles. So I am doing a little running now, which allows me to use my world famous camera technique of shaky camera or cinema verite. Normally I take more pictures of the grass. Don't have the camera up pointing at anything. But I thought I'd make an exception today. Just coming up now on the divide in the trail. Astor Loop is where we are, the A Loop. And Blazing Star and Coneflower, B and C, are that way. And you saw a knapweed loop. So this should come back up to the road on the north campground dump site. So we'll see. Astor Loop to the right, Lead Plant Loop to the left. Maybe that's the one that goes back to the road in the north campground dump station. But I'm going to take this one, and maybe it'll get us back to the campsite closer than when we got in to the trail. I'm not sure if Sam made it this way, because it kind of was counterintuitive back when I came out of the trail the first time, that you had to circle back around to get back on this. And she may have just stayed on the road and gone back that way, the way we came. And this was a little unexpected. A little downhill, trail narrows. I'm not as nimble as I used to be. I'm going to hopefully navigate through here and see you on the other side. So after that little downhill and going along the creek, now we're going back up. Looks like it clears up a little bit up here. See where we end up. I haven't seen any mile markers, so maybe those are just for the bike path. Because I've definitely gone a half mile on this trail. So here we are coming out. At Astor Loop. We are right in that first spot, so I'm on the other side of the campground. And here's the purpose for the grasslands. Oh, really nice. And this is a great campground. I took a shower last night, which is always a luxury to have plenty of hot water. The restroom, which we are right by because we happen to be in a handicap space, only because that was the only one left when we made a reservation, because they encourage you, if you glom onto that one, to choose a different one and leave that for people that really need it. But it was the only one, so we grabbed it. Difference is it's concrete versus gravel, like most of these, and it has water, so we're hooked up to city water, which none of these other ones do. You have to bring your own water in. We filled up at the dump station with fresh water, about half full in a 31-gallon tank, so we've got fresh water on board that we don't have to use. And there's the restroom and the Carol Ann. So I'm back. It's just over 3 miles. Probably be a 5K when I'm done with it, which is a perfect distance for me. Anyway, the restroom was supremely clean. I went there this morning and no one else had used it. There was still, like disinfectant in the toilet bowl. Last night, there are 4 large, well-maintained showers, and I'll probably take another shower today, which 2 days in a row is a exception. Anyway, Sam's probably back, I hope, and probably working on breakfast if she doesn't already have it done. Talk to you guys later.